You gonna cook the pretzels? No? She doesn't want to cook pretzels. Hi guys, welcome back to Josie Posies. Today we are going to be testing out the ultimate pretzel making kit from Pampered Chef. And in the kit you get pretzel dough, so you don't even have to make your own. Although I will find a gluten-free recipe for those of you who are gluten-free, and I will put that down below just to make it a little easier for you. You also get this awesome crimper so you can make pretzel bites, a basting brush for when you have to baste it with the baking soda mixture, a complete step-by-step guide on how to make the pretzels, as well as how to twist them, because there's no way I was going to be able to do this by hand on here, including a measuring bit so you can measure exactly how long you need, and this handy-dandy pretzel form where you do it right on here, then you can lift them off and slide them right onto your baking sheet. So the pretzel making kit is awesome for all these cool options on how to make pretzels, and what's better in fall than fresh, soft, hot pretzels. And we are also going to be making some beer cheese to dip them in, because what goes better together than pretzels and beer cheese? Nothing. So first we're going to make the dough, and this is going to be a little bit of the longer part because the dough does have to rise for 25 minutes. So what you're going to do is cut this guy open. And then I am going to mix this in my classic batter bowl. It's the perfect size for this. And then you're going to mix in 1 cup of warm water. There's a little cat at my feet waiting for something to drop, although I don't think she would want.
She just tried to knock the camera over.
Oh God.
She was trying to get up on the
Are you
chair.
upset the attention isn't on you? You're the worst sous chef ever. Alright, so you're just gonna get this nice and mixed together. I'm using my classic scraper here just to get everything incorporated. Alrighty. That's mostly incorporated, so I'm gonna flour the surface of my counter to knead this out. And you just need like a light spot to work in. That's probably good, not much more than that. So you're gonna grab this guy, the last bit of powder to incorporate in here, and you are going to knead this until it's combined. You don't want to overwork it. That's the biggest problem that you'll get with doughs, is just working them too much. You want to just do it till it's incorporated. It's still got a slight stickiness to it, but it's not completely coating your hands, because that means it probably is too wet. And that's especially something you do not want in a pretzel dough, just because you are going to be adding a baking soda mixture and an egg wash. So the less moisture that you start out with, the better. As you can see, this one's not sticking to my hand as much as when I first pull it out. So we are almost done here. Let's see, I powdered just enough so nothing's really sticking too bad to the surface of my counter. And the best way to knead is using the heel of your palm. This is nice and kneaded. It's still got some springiness to it, so it hasn't totally dried out, which means you didn't put too much flour. Alrighty. And then you're gonna add this to a lightly oiled bowl. You don't want it, again, to be too much. Let me give it a quick toss in here. And then you're gonna cover it and let it rise for about 25 minutes. This is not a kind of dough that's gonna double in volume. This is just everything getting incorporated in here. So don't get too worried when it's not 10 times bigger. So I'm going to quickly clean up this counter space, and we're gonna get started on the beer cheese sauce while this is proofing. Alrighty guys, we are gonna make our beer cheese right now. So this is gonna go in a couple different stages because we're using it in the deluxe cooking blender. The first stage is just gonna be like the liquids and the spices, just to kind of get everything mixed and heated up before we add in the roux, which is our thickener, which in this case is gonna be some butter and flour. And this is basically the same base I'm using for all of the cheese sauce recipes I'll ever do. I'll make note of what I'm switching out for when. So we are gonna start with a cup of whole milk. And yes, you want whole milk for a good cheese sauce. You want all that fat. Don't fight me on that. I work in the dairy industry. I know it's best. So if you were making just a standard cheese sauce, you would use 2 cups of milk. What we're going to do this time, because we're making it a beer cheese sauce, we are going to substitute one of those cups for like a German. In this case, I'm using from the local Capital Brewery. I'm using the Garten Brew Special Pilsner. It's a German style Wisconsin beer from Capital Brewery. And anyone who knows me knows I don't like to drink beer, but I do like to drink this. Whoa, hello friend. It's ready to go. So we are going to, and you want to use a German style beer. That's what a lot of these are in. So we're going to add this. Oh my god, it already is going to smell good. I can already smell the beer. It's all frothy. And then you're going to add some garlic to your taste. For these couple recipes, I found that about 3 small cloves or like 2 big cloves are good. So we're going to add that. We're going to add, in a regular cheese sauce, if I'm making like a nacho cheese sauce, this is where I would add some taco seasoning to taste. I'm going to do about a teaspoon of, let's do a teaspoon and a half for this, of a coarse ground, stone ground mustard. This is actually whole grain, excuse me. And this one's with Irish stout. So we're mixing the German and the Irish here just to get a little different. We're gonna do about half a teaspoon of salt, then a quarter of pepper. And as you guys can see, I'm using 1 measuring spoon for these. These are the adjustable measuring spoons. I've got the one that goes up to a tablespoon and one that goes up to a teaspoon. And I love these. It makes anything that uses a lot of spices so much easier, especially when I'm making like my chili. So these are great. So I'm gonna also add, some people use cayenne, some people use paprika. I'm a little more partial to paprika. This is just a very light, it's for a little bit of color. And
Bridget likes paprika more because Bridget doesn't like spice.
Yes, it's not as spicy. So I'm working to my audience here. So you know what your family likes. You don't want to put it in at all, don't put it in at all. That's totally your call. Alrighty, so we have added all of the base stuff. So yeah, the cheese doesn't actually even come into the end. You don't want to start the cheese at this level because it's just going to get cooked too much. It's going to taste scorched probably. So I'm going to lock this into place, and we are going to switch this to the sauce setting and get going. What I'm making right now is the roux for the beer cheese. This is going to be the thickener. So I've just got one of my silicone baking cups here and my mini skinny scraper. And I'm just I put it in for a total, it's going to be about 1:30. And every 30 seconds you want to give it a good stir just so the butter isn't burning and cooking up top. Just get it integrated. And this is going to be the part that we add in once our blender has heated up to its desired temperature. It's going to give you a little notification. As you can hear it going in the background, it's going to give you a notification saying add. What it's asking you to add in this recipe, that's going to be a thickener. If you're making something that doesn't need a thickener, that's when it'll be done. In this case you do. This is what's going to make it thick and smooth and delicious cheese sauce. so we just got the notification that it reached 176 degrees and it is telling us to add. So this is the part where you know it's time to add the roux that you made in the microwave. Oh my God, it smells amazing. Do you guys remember learning how to like waft in science class so you didn't like burn your face off? Still remembering that. Do that with food too, because especially if you got anything that has reactive stuff in it like beer or spices.
I never learned that in science class.
Gosh. So what you're gonna do is take your top off here and using your mini skinny scraper, just plop it in. You will get some bounce back, so just be careful. Don't get too close with your face, unless you want to be scalded with beer milk. Yeah.
Just the concept of beer milk.
And as I said earlier, the roux is made with flour, so if you want to make a gluten-free version, I would say to use the gluten-free flour. Then you're gonna lock this back into place. Come on. And get going again. All right, so all of the hard work's been done by the blender already. So now that the sauce cycle's at an end, you're gonna carefully remove the top because it is very hot. And this is where you're going to add in the cheese. There's a couple different types of cheeses you can choose. You don't want to do one that's too high in moisture like a mozzarella or anything. We decided to pick a sharp cheddar. Do whatever you think will taste good, whatever your favorite is. And you're going to add, that was about 8 ounces. It's about what you want. After I just flung a lot of water everywhere. So we keep towels on hand. Once you've added the cheese back in, I'm just gonna pulse it a little bit, just to get it nice. Do it on the custom. And once that's been pulsed for, I did it about 30 seconds on, I think 75, just to make sure it's really getting in there. Let's give it a little test. Make sure everything in here has been mixed up nice and good. All right, it seems like everything's been melted. And one thing you're definitely want to do is take it off of this and out of here pretty immediately, especially if you're doing anything dairy based in here, because if you do leave it too long, it will get scorched along the bottom. I already made that mistake with a cheesy potato soup. It was pretty easy to take off, but it did take some time. So don't make the same mistake I did and do not leave a dairy-based item in here too long or else scald along the bottom. Now that our beer cheese is done and our pretzel dough has risen, we are ready to make the pretzels, the fun part. And to do that, I've got my lovely assistant slash fiance here with me.
Hi, internet.
She wants to do the fun part of making the pretzels. Okay, so that has sat. We are going to divide it into 8 pieces.
Can I get the bigger piece?
8 pieces. Don't be a pain.
Well, that's my job. See, this is what happens when you put me in front of the camera.
No, I'm gonna kick you out. We've now divided our dough into 8 pieces, 4 for Bridget, 4 for me, and we are going to now roll them out into 15-inch ropes to put them into that well-known soft pretzel shape. And there's a convenient little ruler in here that'll show us how to do it. want to work the dough out, kind of like Bridget said, like pizza dough, rolling and pulling, just to get it to be an equal width.
I promise you won't break it. It's so elastic.
Yeah, we don't have any like issue with rips.
I mean, I don't completely promise because I don't know.
Just as I said that, this one starts to like rip a
I
little.
was gonna say
She jinxed it.
I don't know if
This one might become a pretzel bite one.
If you're just really not used to working with dough, we'll say, but
3 inches. Just crimp both sides. So you're going to take your section dough and kind of a mix of rolling and pulling, you're going to get it up to the 15 inches that you need to make a large pretzel. If you want to do pretzel bites, you can do them to that length. And then we made them about, what, like a inch and a half, maybe?
just cut them where you would think a pretzel bite would be cut.
Yeah. Just, it's your pretzels. It's your life. Do whatever you want.
Live your life.
Live your best pretzel life. This is, I love this, because I would not be wanting to sit here with a ruler like, oh, what is 15 inches? Alrighty.
You have to eyeball 15 inches because you're a pretzel genius.
Exactly. A pretzel genius. Alrighty. We have rolled out all of our dough. So there are 2 ways to make your pretzels. You can follow the instructions here, or you can use this lovely little pretzel form where you just lift it off once you roll it on there and can put it right on your pan.
Okay, to use this pretzel form, it's got cute little arrows on it. So you put it in the bottom first.
Do you want your directions here?
No, because there's arrows on this one too. And then you kind of gotta stretch it a little bit more. Kind of stretch it around the pegs. Put it this way. Kind of mash it. Put it this way. Kind of stick it to itself. And then you lift it off the bottom. And then we're going to put it on.
You're gonna
Dunk
dunk
it
it
in
in
here.
Let the water dip off. The knees will lift a couple seconds.
And now do I put it on the?
Yep.
On the stoneware.
So this mixture that you just dumped the pretzel in is 4 cups of water and 4 tablespoons of baking soda that I microwaved on high for 5 minutes just to get it integrated. I used my rock crock because it is the only microwavable bowl that I have, and it did it perfectly. And we're going to be cooking them on our large stoneware bar pan. It is perfect. It's going to evenly distribute the heat, and we don't have to worry about them being...
I would recommend doing this because it's easier to stretch it around that.
Yeah.
So you can.
So
you
want to
try it on the pan.
Okay.
But
so if you want to take the basting brush and put the egg wash, which is an egg and a tablespoon of water, on there.
we get a Pampered Chef basting brush.
It came with the set.
Oh.
but seriously, like the set is the dough, this, the form, the crimper, and that. And then I got some kosher.
Okay, but guys, this basting brush is really cool because it has a little thingy on it.
Yeah, so you can put it on the
So
side.
you can like put it on the side of like your bowl or whatever. I think it's too high for this. No, it'll fit.
There you go.
There, I'll show it to this camera. Ta-da! Because it has a little.
As you get egg all over.
I wanted to show it. Okay.
And then there's coarse salt there. Try to get as much water off as we can. And you want to do the honors.
Mm-hmm.
You can be the pretzel. I'll be the dipper, you be the brusher and
So,
the salter.
You'll notice as you're doing this that the dough is really sticky when you put it on there, and this mixture makes it like fall right off the thing. It makes it not sticky anymore.
This is what makes pretzels have that shine to it. Like everything else is basically a regular bread dough. This is what gives that the signature kind of pretzel crust and makes it taste good. Because I've made pretzels just using like pizza dough. Like if you guys don't want to buy dough, or you know, you get the kit and you get the dough and use it one time, like I will just grab like a pizza dough from a deli.
Yeah, you can buy
and it works just fine if you do the same method with the baking soda.
You can even buy pre-made pizza dough like at the grocery store.
Yeah, I would pick it up at the deli, at Metcalf's or Trader Joe's, or I know Publix back home in Florida has a bunch.
I know if you're on the East Coast, Market Basket has Market Basket or Stop and Shop. I know you can get it at Costco.
I mean, you can even get it in a can, I think, from like some brands. So there's really a lot of ways. Like we just use a pizza dough and you'll be golden.
Because the dough's so elastic, you do kind of like a string art almost. Like that string art that you see where they pull it around the nails. You pull it around those pegs and you use that for like leverage to stretch the dough out to be the size that you need it to be. So if you can't get it like perfectly 15 inches, you're fine because you can stretch it out and use those pegs for leverage.
Yeah, exactly. Alright guys, and just like that, we have beer cheese and fresh homemade pretzels. Just perfect for the fall, and look how gorgeous they came out with the lovely egg wash. You did a great job. The whole place smells amazing, and it was super easy. Like, the only easier thing would be getting them from a freezer section and microwaving them, and they don't taste nearly as good as these are going to. So, let's give them a little taste test.
I want to go for a pretzel bite.
Alright, you do the bite. Like, they held their shape great. They smell really good.
The one thing that I discovered when I moved to Wisconsin, and I found out that we have them back home in Massachusetts, but not in like where you can get it everywhere, is beer cheese. So beer cheese is magical. That's really good.
It was really good. So yeah, I'll post a, excuse me. I'll post a written recipe in the links below. I'll put it on my blog for you guys to go check out. But 100% awesome fall dish. These could even be your Friday night bites. Take them to a tailgate party. Super easy. Like I said, if you don't have time to make dough and let it rise, you can easily pick up some pizza dough at the grocery store. But honestly, this ultimate pretzel kit was like insanely cool. And we can reuse everything except the dough, which again is really easy to find.
It's great for kids.
Yeah, the step-by-steps on there, and like that's the thing, you can make these any flavor you want. You can put some, you know, we put salt just to keep it simple because we got the cheese, but you could do like jalapeno cheddar, cinnamon sugar, just go wild. Alrighty guys, thanks so much. Let me know what else you'd like to see or want us to try going forward in the fall. Do you want to see any side dishes for Thanksgiving? Or even some Christmas cookies? Maybe we can give that a try. Let me know in the comments below. Thanks! There used to be this pizza place that closed or was like under new management like 800 times where I lived in Florida. as a kid where they would, if you were a kid, they would give you pizza dough to play with. And then we would throw it into the bushes, and Dad always be like, no, the raccoons are gonna come get it.